Good morning, everyone. Here is chapter 31 of A Dog's Promise. Dogs were being let out on stiff leashes and put in one of several vans. When Ava released Lacey, I was ecstatic. But Ava spoke sternly to me. "Down, Riley." Lacey twisted, trying to get to me, but Ava put herself between us and commanded me to sit and stay, which I did until I saw Lacey being loaded into Ava's van, and then I strained against my leash, dragging Grant over so I could climb up and into Lacey's cage just as Ava was shutting the door. We immediately began wrestling. Ava glared at Grant. "What are you doing?" Grant was laughing. "Riley really wants to be with that dog." "That's besides the point, Grant. This dog might not be safe. She's been abused. You can see the scar tissue." "You're right, Ava. Sorry." Ava opened Lacey's cage door and called me, and we both obediently jumped out. Ava grabbed my leash and said, "Go on," to Lacey, who leapt back in while I strained. Ava shut the door. "Did you make a girlfriend, Riley?" I stayed in the van when Ava left. She returned with the male dog who was missing an eye. He didn't greet me. He curled up in the back corner of his cage and panted. He was frightened. When all the cages contained dogs, Ava called me out of the van, and I reluctantly obeyed. She shut the side door and slid into the front seat. "See you in a bit, Grant," she called. I was shocked when the van drove off. How could it be that I finally found Lacey and now she was going away? Without thinking, I ran after her in fast pursuit. "Riley!" Grant called from behind me. "No." Lacey was in there. I couldn't let her go. "Riley, come." My dedication wavered. I slowly panted. "Riley, Riley." I dejectedly turned around and went back to Grant, my head down. We spent some time there without Ava. Other vehicles led other dogs away until I was the only one left. Would I be taken somewhere too? I yipped with relief when Ava's van returned. But when the door was flung open, Lacey was no longer there. I wagged when Ava held me and kissed my nose, but I felt lonely and lost. We were in the van doing a car ride somewhere else. Grant driving, when Ava put her phone to her face and talked. She put the phone down and turned urgently to Grant. "We have to turn around and go back." "Why? What happened?" "The vet's office where we took the dogs for evaluation screwed up, and somehow a couple of dogs escaped. The news feed is making it sound like there's a pack of killer animals on the loose. They're having a meeting, and people brought rifles. They're going to shoot those poor dogs." I sat up, yawning anxiously. Ava was upset. What was going on? "We'll find them. Nobody is better at tracking strays than you are, Ava. Everything will be fine." We drove for a while as the sun dropped in the sky. When we stopped, I was astounded. This was Dew School. I had done assist on those steps for Burke so many times. A man smelling like peanut butter approached Ava's side of the truck, and she lowered her window. I wondered why he wasn't sitting on the steps with his friends. They just left. "It's insane, Ava. They came driving up with guns in their racks, so the sheriff made them park off school property, and they wanted to argue about that. Eventually they sat in the gym and said the dogs are going to kill their chickens and their kids. The sheriff said if they saw a stray pit bull, they should call it in and let the law handle it, and they laughed at him. They've got their bloodlust up. That's horrifying." We did a very slow car ride, turning up and down the streets, the scents changing only gradually. "Look at that, they are coming, their rifles. They're like in the army." Ava stormed as a truck blew by on a roar of machinery, and a trail of men's laughter. "That's not at all legal. Call the sheriff," Grant advised. "These dogs deserve a better chance at a better life." Ava seized her phone in her hand. The fear and anger and tension was so powerful I was panting with them. Ava spoke, and then put her phone in her pocket. "Good news. They've got most of them." We pulled into a brightly lit parking lot. I wagged as Grant opened his door and let me in, snagging my leash in one hand. "Can you get something?" Ava asked. "Black coffee would be great, Ava, thanks." He turned to watch a large truck swing into the parking lot. "I know those guys. High school. They're armed to the teeth." Grant began walking toward the truck. "Grant!" Ava called. He waved his hand at the men inside the truck. "Hey, Louis, Jet Trevino?" one of the men asked. He stood up out of his truck. He was holding a thick, heavy stick with an acrid, familiar odor I could faintly pick up. "Thought you were in Florida or something." He transferred his sticks to the other hand so he could pull on Grant's. I was there for a time. What are you guys up to? I turned to see that Abel was coming up to join us. You didn't hear the man looked at a bunch of fine dogs escape. We're out hunting them. You're hunting down dogs? Grant snorted incredulously. That's not even legal. It is when they're vicious, he asserted. Ava stepped forward. No, it's not. Michigan Chapter 9, 750.50b. You can get up to 4 years in prison. I am the attorney for Hope's Rescue. The animals are technically ours. We were asked by the county sheriff's department to take care of them. If you harm them in any way, you will be sued, and I will file a criminal complaint against each and every one of you. The man talking to Grant went rigid. Grant cocked his head. Come on, don't you have a kid and a wife now, Lewis? He blinked, turning his focus on Grant. Yeah, and a baby girl. Well, if you're so worried about packs of wild dogs, why aren't you home protecting your kid? Instead of driving around drinking beer with your buddies, gets a first day of deer season. Grant leaned over and looked at the other two men in the truck. You know how pissed the sheriff's going to be if you actually manage to kill a dog? Our new friends drove up. I nosed Grant's hand. We were close to the farm. More than smell it, I could feel it. I whined. What's wrong, Riley? Ava asked softly. Maybe everything that's going on is making him stress out. You know what? We could swing by and drop him off with my dad, long as we're so close, Grant suggested. It's a good idea. Riley, would you like to be a farm dog for a while? I wagged. When the goat ranch passed by my window, I knew where we were going. Chase Dad and Zizi were at the table. They leapt up when Grant opened the door, and everyone was hugging. I waited patiently for my own hugs, which I assumed would be coming. Chase Dad was grinning. So this is Ava. Hello, Zizi said. They were, of course, hugging me now, and I was kissing them back. Hello there, Riley, Chase Dad said, turning his face away so I could look his ear. We just dropped by for a moment. See if you'll watch Riley for a bit, Grant informed them. We're out searching for a couple of lost dogs. What do you mean? Chase Dad asked. While they talked, I slid out the dog door and stood with my nose raised. I could smell the ducks and far away some horses. I liked living in the small house with Ava and Grant, but I loved being here on the farm. After a time, everyone stepped out on the porch to be with me. Chase Dad put his hand on my head. How you been, Riley? I've really missed you. I stood on my back legs so I could reach his face with my tongue. I love Chase Dad. We need to get going, Grant, Ava said. Are they really dangerous? Chase Dad wanted to know. Probably not, but maybe. They certainly will be disorientated and frightened. I caught a bare hint of something on the air, snapped my head up. What was that? Was that what I thought it was? Grant put a leash on my collar. Okay, you're going to hang here for a bit, Riley. I barked. Everyone jumped. Ava crouched down and put her head next to mine, peering into darkness. What is it? What do you see, Riley? Chase Dad pointed. Look. Lacey stepped into the pool of light under the pole by the driveway, and Ava took in a sharp breath. It's one of the pits we rescued today. Lacey! I was wagging furiously, straining to get to her. Lacey was wagging too, but she came closer. But as she came closer, she slowed, dropping her head. Grant pulled on my leash. No, Riley, no. What could that word possibly mean in this context? That's the one Riley has a crush on, Ava said. Chase Dad cocked his head. What? The dog yard. Riley ignored everyone else but that one. Grant, I know it sounds strange, but let Riley go. With a click, my restraint was gone, and I bounded across the yard to my Lacey. We greeted each other as if we'd been separated forever. I chased her, and she chased me, and we rolled and played and played. Of course she was here. I didn't notice that Ava and Grant were at the van until Grant called me. I dutifully trotted to him. So did Lacey. Ava was holding a long stick with a loop at the end of it. Good dog, she said. Can you sit, Riley? I did sit and glanced proudly at Lacey when she did the same. We were good dogs together. Ava took a step forward and lowered her stick, and the loop went around Lacey's neck. Good dog, sweetie. You are such a good dog. She exhaled a sigh of relief. Just a couple more and this nightmare is over. Grant clicked the leash back in my collar. I'll wait here while you take the pit bull back, he suggested. Lacey was put in the van, but not me. I was astounded and hurt when Grant held my leash and Ava drove Lacey away. Not again. I tracked Lacey by scent until Grant took me into the house. I think Ava's right. Riley's in love, Grant told Chase Dad. I had to hold him to keep him from running after them. Zizi left. Chase, Dad, and Grant were in the living room, and I sprawled at their feet, my leash trailing out from my collar. I sighed. I did not understand where Ava was taking Lacey, and hoped they would soon be back. Did you read the paperwork I sent? Grant asked. Chase, Dad, settled back in his chair. Glanced at it. It's a good deal, Dad. You can work the farm as long as you want. Sell your crops to whomever you want. The company doesn't get in until after you pass on. What about you boys? Grant blew out some air. Brooke's not interested, Dad. You know my position. If I worked here, I would literally be dirt poor. I'm not selling the farm to the robo-farmers, Grant. I don't know how you could even think such a thing. Maybe you don't see the value in it, but you could change your mind. Haven't you had, 30 careers already? Seems like changing your mind is something of a specialty for you. Dad, want to talk about something else, because this subject is closed. I jumped up when I heard the familiar sound of Ava's cage in the driveway. Grant met Ava at the door. I could smell the new Lacey on her pants and hands, but Ava was alone. What happened? Grant asked. She ran a hand through her hair. One of the dogs was killed. Grant sucked his breath. That's horrible. How? Boys with guns, Grant. Boys with guns. We caught the rest of them, though. They're safe. She sighed, stepping forward to put her head on his shoulder. I'm exhausted. Let's stay here tonight, then. The weekend, even. Grant and Ava slept in his room, and there really wasn't enough bed for me, so I trotted into Burke's bedroom and circled a few times before curling up on his pillow. I was comforted by his scent and wondered when he was coming back to the farm. There was so much I did not understand. Lacey ran with me in my dreams that night. She was the first Lacey, the one who left after we found the snake. When I awoke, I was startled she wasn't lying on Burke's bed with me. The next day, I followed Zizi and Chase, Dad, out into the fields and watched them play with plants, moving side by side. Grant seems to think he's got something better to do this morning, Chase, Dad drawled with a smile. Zizi nodded. Chase, Dad stood up, pushing his fist into the small of his back. He watched Zizi keep working for a moment. Zizi? The other man looked up. Grant wants me to sell the farm to Trident Mechanical Harvesting. I saw their offer. It's a lot of money, Zizi. I don't know if it is because Ava's mother runs a company, or if it's because I'm more valuable being right in the middle of their whole deal. Every time they want to get from here to there, they have to steer clear around my property. So I could lease the place back for $1 a year until I die, and then they'd get it. Continue to live here, to work it. Only I wouldn't have to worry about the bills anymore. Zizi was watching Chase, Dad very carefully. Chase, Dad slowly turned his head, eventually twisting his body so that he went in a circle, as if taking in everything he could smell. Zizi stood, a worried frown on his face. Would I still work here? Chase, Dad nodded. Zizi shrugged. Okay, he said. The end. Tomorrow, chapter 32. Have a great day of remote learning, boys and girls. Miss you all.